Previously on the NerdSpice podcast.
Nice.
So the Birds of Prey was comprised of Black Canary, Huntress, and Oracle. But apparently in this movie, we're going to be getting Black Canary, Huntress, Cassandra Cain, and Renee Montoya.
Ooh. I don't know who
Renee Montoya works at Gotham PD. She's, I want to say,
police officer.
She works for them. She's also been the Question for a certain period, and she's dated Batwoman before.
Ooh.
So
I'm with it. I know everybody but
doing
her,
this. We could get an introduction to Batwoman at some point.
Gay shit.
Welcome to the NerdSpice podcast, your one-stop shop where we take the hot, nerdy news and break it down, spice it up, and add a dash of commentary for your dining pleasure. As always, the servers of your 5-course meal are here today. I'm Siah. You can find me on Twitter at SiahJ_Andre. I'm also here with...
Maul. You can find me on Twitter at Awkward King, AKWURD King, or any other various social medias that I have linked to that. And I'm also here with...
Hi everyone, my name is Oscarp. You can find me at OPIMI1 on Twitter.
Alright, and today's episode is going to be really DC heavy. There's not too much Marvel news to really go over, just because they haven't really been releasing things, or some things we don't know about as of now, but we have a pretty good slate of news to go over. But before we get into that, how was everyone's day?
It's been alright, it's been pretty good. Just got off work and I'm excited to be home. Whew.
I just finished Orange is the New Black.
You did?
Mini review. I'm not going to say you can skip it, but you don't need to be watching it right now. It's fine. You can take your time.
Just the season or the entire show?
The season.
So
I can't even recommend the show to people anymore because of how downslope it goes. From the first season. Remember how everybody was excited for this fucking show? And then around season 3, it was just, oh, that's coming back on? Oh, cool. I might get to it. Everybody that I've talked to hasn't passed season 3 yet, with a few exceptions. So not only does that speak about your show, but I don't know. It used to be so in depth. Like the one thing that I really liked. This is a short review. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go on a tangent. But the main thing that I liked about Orange is the New Black was its side stories, the stories of the prison inmates and how they got in there, or how it develops into how they are in prison. Right? Mm-hmm. They dialed back on that every single season as it's gone forward. Like this season only had about, mild spoiler, only had about 5 backstories out of the 20,000 inmates. It's just, I just wish people would stay on their same formula if you're going to be going on for eight fucking seasons. Like, at least stay on your same formula that made your shit pop off. Because now your viewers are getting less, I think. I'm not going to say that because I can't pull up statistics right now. But your viewers, to me, are becoming less as the seasons go on. So that's my little rant.
I haven't watched the show for a while now. I haven't really had the urge to go back and watch it. So. No, I mean, yeah.
There you go, folks.
I feel like once I let a show go and it gets like more than 3 seasons ahead, like I'm not gonna watch it. Like I'm gonna just let it go.
Real life human being. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think if you're looking for a prison show fix, like a female prison show fix that you could watch, there's this Australian show named Wentworth. It's about a female prison, and it's pretty much just as good, if not better. It's more drama focused and comedy focused. Yeah, I brought it up before, and y'all didn't watch it, but now I'm bringing it up again.
I watched to episode 5,
so
and I might go back. No promise.
Yeah, but it is more drama heavy than some of the comedy that's on Orange is the New Black. If you're looking for a show to replace that, just a little plug.
Yeah, but enough about shows. At least enough about Orange is the New Black. Another show that I really want to talk about, because it's coming out pretty soon, I think it's dropping sometime in September, is actually American Horror Story Season 8, which has the subtitle Apocalypse.
That's the opening, by the way.
The intro.
You saw that GIF on Twitter where they're like dancing while the theme song was on?
The video, yeah, everybody's dancing.
I think we're getting it.
I'm telling you, the only reason why I'm really coming back to the show is only because this season is a crossover between Murder House and Coven,
And
which
they know how
they're
to
like one of
serve
the
their
best
audience when they
seasons
do
of the
bring back
show.
the two best seasons.
Exactly. And I feel like for a lot of people kind of look at the first 3 seasons of American Horror Story as the best, and then the other seasons that follow, like some of them are good, others are like passable.
I still
But
haven't watched them. Like
yeah,
I've only watched Murder House Coven fully, and then I got halfway through Murder House, and I haven't watched anything since then.
You haven't seen Asylum? I definitely recommend Asylum.
Asylum
Wait,
was
what did I
really
say?
good.
What did I say? I halfway on
Murder House.
Murder House.
No, I finished Murder House, finished Coven.
Okay.
Yeah, it's season 2, the one when they're with the nuns and shit.
The Asylum.
Asylum.
Yeah, the Asylum. Yeah, that must be the one.
Asylum,
I only got halfway through that.
Asylum is really good. It was different. Like it was set in the 60s, and so you have the conversations of mental illness and also LGBT relationships and how people of the time dealt with it. And so you have that, but then you also have elements of sci-fi and religious undertones and things like that. It was just a really good season. Like I enjoyed it. And Zachary Quinto was also on the show. He plays Spock in the Star Trek movies. That was a really good season. But yeah, a lot of people really consider Murder House, Asylum, and Coven to be like the best, the cream of the crop of the show. But the reason why I wanted to touch on it, not just because it's a crossover, also because apparently Jessica Lange is returning for season 8. And if you don't know who Jessica Lange is, you probably haven't watched the show, or you either haven't watched.
Or they just like me don't know actors' names. Jessica Lange was the lead. What do they call her? The Supreme in.
Yeah, she was the Supreme.
Yes.
But like,
she was.
Even if you don't know her name, like after you watch a season with her in it, you're going to know her name. Like, she was in the first 4 seasons of American Horror Story. She was also in Freak Show. That was season 4. Yeah, so she was in the first 4 seasons. And she was pretty much like a household name. Like everybody loved her. And so when it was announced that she was leaving and Lady Gaga was coming in for season 5, which was Hotel, like I'm sure a lot of people kind of felt iffy on it just because Jessica Lange was like so powerful in the show, but also like a staple, you know? Like it seemed hard to like.
On?
You said what?
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson.
She has been in 3
seasons. They had 2 grabs on that show. Sarah Paulson was one. Jessica Lange was the other. They still got one hand left.
I mean, Sarah Paulson is great. Like, I love Sarah. She was great in Ocean's 8, which is another movie plug. It was a nice, simple little movie.
Yeah,
I thought she was in.
She's great in like a lot of stuff. I can't wait to see her in Glass next year. Like, I think her character is going to be pretty cool. But yeah, Jessica Lange is coming back for season 8. I don't know which character she's playing, as far as if she's playing her character from Murder House or if she is playing her character from Coven. Like, I don't know which one they're going to do, but whichever way they go, like, both those characters are really unique and 3-dimensional and stuff.
I think they can do. They're either going to do Murder House, because I feel like this is going to be more related toward like the baby, and I haven't seen Murder House in years, and like the baby, the whole point of Murder House was to get that baby, and she was a very big plot point in getting that baby. But I have no idea. But they could also just have her play both characters, like they've done it before with Sarah Paulson. She played, the Siamese twins. But yeah, I could totally see them either having her play both characters at once, or just playing the Murder House character, because that was a pretty big plot point. I'm not sure if the Supreme is going to be coming back. I actually don't really remember much of Coven.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
It's been a while, like since Coven and Murder House were at the top of everybody's radar. I definitely think it's worth a rewatch if you want to do it, or just find a nice little recap video on YouTube. Those are very popular. But also, aside from Jessica Lange returning, which is really cool, Ryan Murphy on Twitter also confirmed that Taija Farmiga, Gabourey Sidibe, Lily Rabe, Francis Conroy, Stevie Nicks, and Sarah Paulson are, of course, returning for this season. Now, if you don't know their names, I mean, that's fine. Like, it's a lot of names to like go through and remember, but they all have been in American Horror Story in some capacity. Some people have been in for more than one season, like Sarah Paulson. Other people you've probably only seen for like maybe 1 or 2 seasons. I think it's going to be really interesting as far as just seeing them all come back. I was actually really surprised to see Gabourey Sidibe come back because she reacted to the teaser trailer for Apocalypse and it almost sounded like she wasn't going to be a part of it. But to see that she is going to come back, like I think it's going to be really interesting to see her come back and see how she interacts with this new element that they're introducing.
Who's Gabourey?
Push, a novel by Sapphire.
Yeah, she was also in Empire.
In Coven, she was the voodoo.
Yeah.
The voodoo doll.
I didn't know her name.
Yeah, and so they're coming back for American Horror Story. I really don't know what to expect out of this season that's coming up. Just because I've been out of the loop for so long, but also it's a crossover.
You can't guess what's going to happen because they both ended like pretty drastically, if I remember correctly. Nothing that will allow us to think of a way they could blend them together. But who knows?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe Ghosts of Coven will be in the murder house.
Like the murder house, the whole thing was like preparing for the coming of this demon baby, and like it seemed from the teaser trailer that the demon baby is going to be playing a huge role, and maybe the witches are going to either try to aid the demon baby in bringing in the apocalypse or stop it from bringing the apocalypse. But it's going to be an interesting season, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching it and jumping back in the show after I kind of fell off the past few seasons. But yeah, it's exciting.
Aside from American Horror Story news, we do have a little bit of Marvel news, like I said in the beginning. So one of the things that is kind of recent, but not really too recent, is the apparent discovery that Marvel is the one responsible for axing the Deadpool cartoon that was supposed to be coming out for FX. And so the FX CEO, John Landgraft, had revealed that pretty much Marvel was the reason why the Deadpool cartoon was not coming to FX in the first place. Like, we all remember when the Deadpool cartoon got canceled, Donald Glover, who was the showrunner for Deadpool along with his brother Steven, was pretty much in charge of seeing it from birth to release. And once it was canceled, he went on Twitter and posted like a 15-page spec script. That wasn't really a script for the episode. It was kind of like a fourth wall type situation. It's like, oh, we're not having the show anymore. Let me just write something really quick to kind of break it down for you. And so the show's not happening anymore, and apparently it's because of Marvel. And when the CEO was asked if the show would come back in any form, he pretty much broke down and said, it's in the hands of Marvel, and now they're the ones that have the decision to make in terms of if they want the show to come to fruition or not.
I don't really have any thoughts on this too much. Just knowing what character they were trying to do Deadpool, that might not have... I mean, to get the full essence of Deadpool on FX?
Yeah.
That wouldn't have... Nah. I mean, it could have been a numerous amount of things for the reason of their decision making. But Deadpool is a very raunchy character, and to play him on a family TV show or a family broadcast network, that wouldn't have flew too well with me. Because even when they said FX, I was like, "It's Deadpool." Like, to get the full Deadpool effect, you want him half-assed because that would just make people mad.
Well, FX is not.
It's not
super
family friendly, but like
because
it's not.
It has
FX was known for shows like Always Sunny in Philadelphia that would push that boundary, but then they got pushed to FXX, which was definitely not family friendly. Like they had to make a whole other there's a whole other FX channel which is FXX. And that's the definite for extreme.
My cable box is dusty.
But I can definitely see where they're like coming from. Like it's one thing to make a show like Daredevil, which is definitely for like an older audience, but it's not pushing the envelope in terms of inappropriateness or raunchiness. It's just extreme violence. But Deadpool, he really hits on a lot of points that maybe Marvel and Disney in general as a whole don't want to address, or they don't want to become overly saturated in. So I can see why they might have canceled that, why they might have wanted to take control back on that before it got too popular.
Yeah, I don't really have too much else to say on it. I mean, I think FX would have been a fine home because it did have shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, also American Horror Story and Legion. So it kind of hits that demographic that probably would have appreciated the Deadpool cartoon. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Like, there are other shows and other cartoons that are coming out that I'm sure will please everybody.
And again, I don't know if anybody was really asking for it. Not to say that as an excuse for everything, but like it just seems like the entertainment industry likes to shove things down our throat that we're not really asking for. Well, like we literally say in forums and in anything what we would like to see, you know, in terms of I can't think of any examples right now, but if I do, I will interrupt the fuck out of you. But I don't remember anything. So it's just like I don't know. It's just like who asked for this? Did anybody ask for this? Because we have gotten 2 movies and maybe a third. I wouldn't, shun away a third. But he's really good in the movieverse, a rated R movieverse where he belongs. Nobody asked him to bring a TV. Nobody asked for your Funko Pops. Nobody asked for. Nobody asked for you to come to the community theater. I mean, it's just like
there's no other way to put it.
Trying to make money, please.
I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, we live in a society where saturation is pretty much the key to, like, success.
Saturate us with what we asked for.
I mean, it's not, but Donald Glover was behind it. I mean, maybe Donald approached FX and was like, hey, I want to make this show. You know, maybe it's not like FX is like, hey, we need to, like, cash in on, like, the Deadpool stuff. Maybe Donald just came to them and he was like, well, I have an idea for the show. You know, let's see where it goes from there.
Let me stop.
I feel like in some cases, like a lot of things.
But I'm just saying, like, me personally, I wasn't even excited for it when it was announced. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, people were like really excited when they released that like test footage of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and they're like remember when the first movie was, they were like, look at what got canceled by Fox because they said this movie would never be successful. So they released that test footage, and then audiences were like, yeah, we would love the hell out of this type of movie. And then Deadpool actually came out, and that was like around the time everybody was like begging for more of this kind of new, edgy, like it never been done before. I'm quoting Lady Gaga in that interview. Never been done before. Reference or not reference, you know, it was brand new and everybody wanted a piece of it. And I guess now we just, with Deadpool 2, we just kind of...
We got our fill.
Yeah, we got our fill. We're done with it, I would say.
Yeah, so that's the Deadpool news. Now, for more of the Marvel film side, kind of 2 things. One being minor and another one kind of, like, if it's a thing. Like... So the first thing is apparently Samuel L. Jackson and Cobie Smulders, who play Nick Fury and Maria Hill respectively in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, are going to be in Spider-Man Far From Home, which is the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming.
So Spider-Man is alive.
I mean, obviously, because they're doing a movie.
They're going to come back to life after Avengers 4.
Yeah. They get transported to another dimension. They don't necessarily die. It's devastating as people might think. They basically got teleported.
Yeah, like there's
I don't even think it's that. I just think, you know, they might have gotten poofed and then they're going to get unpoofed in Avengers 4. I feel like just all of these like announcements just really take away from the impact of Infinity War. Like even during Infinity War, I was like, I don't even care about these characters dying because I know they're going to come back for the next movie. So it's like, why?
Well, that's you because you know we've delved into Marvel's formula, but other suspecting who they want all their money from may not predict something like that because you know they're just coming in for the popcorn and the visuals and stuff like that. Where is Spider-Man Far From Home planting on the timeline? Is it after?
It's after
the second
Avengers 4.
Avengers?
Yeah. So
okay,
like,
never mind. I thought it was before.
Yeah.
So I was
No.
like, what? That doesn't sound smart. Okay.
No,
It's after.
There's been a rumor that it's gonna take place like after Avengers 4, and it's gonna be like on a field trip in Europe, like Spider-Man and his friends go on a field trip to Europe. But that might have been just a rumor created by Feige himself. He was just joking around and people ran with it. But also Feige has stated that he wanted to explore how Spider-Man will react after Infinity War, and this is a quote, he said, as he enters his junior year, so meaning his junior year of high school. So it's definitely taking place after the events of Infinity War, and it seems like he's most definitely going to come back to planet Earth. And
thanks, Feige, for spoiling.
Yeah,
he said this. Infinity War.
He said it like while they were producing Infinity War, so I don't think he really thought that we would hold on to these quotes as religiously as we do, as nerds do.
Yeah, I have no issue with it. It's
I
just
hate when they do that. If you got a universe, shut up about future projects until you're done with the other. Like, just get a glow to the general audience who doesn't really research this stuff. Their nerd friends are going to tell them, "Oh yeah, Spider-Man coming out. Oh yeah, after." But then he get pooped away. Oh yeah, he's coming back. You know, I guess I'm thinking too broadly because I like, for like directors and all of them, I want them to make their universes feel like almost real. Like, I don't want hush. Just keep all your projects shut down and keep us excited.
Yeah.
I just feel the excitement factor for movies, especially Marvel's movies, are gone. Like, let a villain win sometimes. You'll never like touch back on it. Ooh. Something different, but I guess that's never good for the general audience. But still, as far as like him saying that Spider-Man, yeah, we're getting a movie after, Avengers, just lets us know that they're gonna come back somehow. So whatever it looks like, it's not gonna be like that. So I mean,
I think it's fine. I just think because they announced it and we're still in the middle of the Avengers finale. Like we got Infinity War, but we still have to get Avengers 4 to get the full story. Like the fact that they even, came out with a news story like this. It kind of does stick away.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And
but it's okay. It doesn't matter. They're gonna make money off of it anyway. That's probably why they're so nonchalant about it. But where's the excitement?
I mean, I think there's still excitement in the sense that you're getting the movie, but in terms of like everything inside the movie, you get what you get. And
when's the last time you gasped in the movie? Oh shit, we gasped at MI6. Before
before MI6.
When I didn't watch the trailer to a movie.
I will say the last time I really gasped in terms of like a Marvel movie was in Infinity War when Black Panther poofed. But that's only because at the time the directors and pretty much everybody on the team didn't know that he would become that popular. So they were like, "Oh, we'll just choose him to poof." But everybody loved Black Panther, so when he went, like the entire audience like gasped.
Or they did it just for the same reason Spider-Man. They knew he was popular and would get a reaction out of people who decided to.
They didn't know.
Of course, they couldn't make that decision while it was in production, but
they didn't know Black Panther would be popular though. And like Black Panther came out 3 months before Infinity War, so you were really like gambling.
Yeah.
At that point, and so
they probably digitally edited it. He probably wasn't pooped before, but they did it.
No, they didn't do that. I don't think they did that.
Okay, yeah, we got to get you back in here to do some last minute acting. Please, let's modify it.
She went to her Starbucks. I can't. But yeah, that's the Spider-Man news. And the other news that I said was kind of meh is the fact that Dave Bautista, who plays Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, commented on James Gunn.
Barista. Coffee tastes bad. Welcome to NerdSpice, where we make food puns. Dave Barista can't make a cappuccino.
Oh my god. He called working for Disney pretty nauseating because James Gunn got fired. And
you're nauseating.
Pretty much in a rundown, he put out a tweet that said, "I will do what I'm legally obligated to do, but Guardians without James Gunn is not what I signed up for. Guardians of the Galaxy without James Gunn just isn't Guardians of the Galaxy. It's also pretty nauseating to work for someone who'd empower a smear campaign by fascist cyber Nazis. That's just how I feel."
Do you like money?
But also, but the thing is, there was also another update where he said if they didn't use James Gunn's script, then he would try to get out of his contract to come back as Drax.
What?
Why is he going so hard? That's my question. Like, everybody signed a petition. Everybody did, their, let's stop it, guys. Let's bring Gunn back. But he's like, he's like his pit bull. Like, he is trying like super hard to get this dude back on.
It's just, I don't have too much else to say. We have a whole episode dedicated to James Gunn.
We already talked about like the situation, and I just think, him saying that it's a smear campaign. They brought up tweets that Gunn wrote, and if it's nauseating to work for someone who fires someone for writing the things that Gunn wrote, then yeah, let it be nauseating. To me, it's more nauseating working with someone who would write those things and tweet those things. Maybe he's a changed person. I don't know.
All I will say,
Dave
I see Disney still hire him back.
You said what?
I see Disney still hire him back.
I mean, of course, that's a huge executive decision. And if Bob Iger is the one that said he's not coming back, he's not coming back. Like,
he is on vacation with his kids. I'm telling you, he made that decision on the iPad, and he think twice about it.
Bob Iger stood at the Target line, had Fox in his hand, and James Gunn was acting up. He said, "You know what? I'm not taking you to the store anymore." And guess what?
Nah, you remember when New York was like, "You're out of it." That was him. He's like, "You're done. You're out of it. Get out."
They already replaced Terrence Howard in Iron Man. So we know that Disney's like willing to replace people.
I mean, but even then, like,
everybody forgot about him. Don Cheadle came through, and everybody was like, "Wait a minute, that's what?"
I mean, they also replaced Edward Norton as the Hulk.
Yeah, so
but even in those cases, like, those weren't as extreme as James Gunn.
Forget, though.
I mean, either way,
and then
technically, he's still like Drax got snapped in Infinity War, so this goes back to the argument that like the deaths in Infinity War don't really matter if he's already talking about filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He's already dead, so Disney could just write him off as like, oh yeah, everybody made it back except for Drax.
Now that would be
brought in a replacement.
That would be interesting.
Which I'd be mad.
That would be no. That would be interesting if he did leave and he got out of his contract, did whatever he had to do. It'll be interesting if they did edit out Drax from the movie and just said, some people just can't come back. Oh god, I couldn't even finish it.
Or just have a really dramatic scene. Drax is gone, and that's it. Forget about it.
Mantis does her powers. She's like, everybody forget.
Strong in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. Like, strong or smart. One of those. So,
didn't seem smart.
He just wanted to say some dumb shit. Like, he was, like, totally, like, bashing the shit out of her. Like, even to the point, like, I love a good raunchy comedy. Don't get me wrong. But they was going in on her, and I'm just like, okay, calm down.
That's what I'm
calling her ugly and all this.
That's what I'm saying.
Wrong.
Oh, but that's how he says he cares about her in his planet or whatever. It was
like saying that stuff without getting judged. And that's like James Gunn to come back because he allowed it.
Dave Bautista is not the best actor. I mean, he's a good actor. He was also in Blade Runner 2049, and even though his role was limited there, like, he was good. But it's like, you're Drax. Everybody likes Drax for the comedic elements, but your character was pretty trash in, like, the sequel. He called Gamora a whore in the first movie, and then he kept making all those jokes, like you guys are saying, about Mantis. And, I mean, Mantis already had a lot of Asian stereotypes applied to her, so much so to the point that the comic creator didn't even care for the movie because he felt like his character was trashed.
That's what I'm saying. In the comics, she's a beast, but right here, she's being reduced by some big barista in body paint. Like, get out of here.
To make a long story short, I can see if he wants to get out of that contract, Disney can snip him out and replace him easily.
That's why they don't care. We sitting here arguing over these people for the James Gunn, and Disney's moved on already. They're making Disney labeled scissors because they can't.
Dave,
in the shape of Mickey Mouse ears.
Dave said
types of people.
They say, y'all don't understand. James Gunn's writing was bold and brash, and Bob Iger said, it belongs in the trash.
Just because you fired it because his words are bold and brash, more like belongs in the trash.
So, yeah, there's literally nothing else to say on that. If you want to hear more of our comments in terms of James Gunn being fired from Disney, his tweets, that whole fiasco, we have a whole episode dedicated to that. And we also have a backlog of other episodes that you should check out if you're new to the NerdSpice podcast.
Ad free.
Ad free, yes. Unless Blue Apron comes in and spices us up. But
spices
wink.
Up,
yeah.
add some onion powder to our pie.
But yeah, I want to move on from that because I don't want to stick on that too long.
Way too long.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into some DC stuff, and the first update is the announcement that Ruby Rose is going to be Batwoman for the CW.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking.
The more important announcement is she's going to be playing her as a lesbian, an open lesbian.
Because
Ruby
Rose is not playing that shit. She is an advocate for lesbians, and she's going to make sure she gets adequate. What's the word? I had it too.
Screen time. Development. Screen
There's
time.
another word for showtime. Like she's going to make sure that
screen time
display. No, not screen time. Like she's going to make sure she is going to show that she's an advocate for lesbianism.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just use that.
Yeah.
Because I could. There's a word for it. Shut up.
Representation.
I'm gonna say it. Huh?
Representation.
Yeah, that's a good one, but that wasn't the one. But yes.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
Okay. She's going to be Batwoman for the CW. And so this article is coming from Variety, or the news is coming from Variety, and it says that the character will make her CW debut in the annual crossover event between 4 of the network's DC shows, which includes The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. So you guys probably don't know, but when Supergirl got rolled over into like the CW, they pretty much started all of these major crossovers. And so they had the 4-part crossovers. Before it was just Arrow and The Flash, and so they had like a 2-part crossover. And because the shows were premiering around the same time, and they also fell on different nights of the week, it was really like a week-long like movie event. And so this upcoming crossover event is going to introduce Batwoman to the fold. And there was another bit of news for that. Potentially, they're working on a show for Batwoman. And if everything turns out, then it's going to get picked up for the 2019-2020 season. So sometime next year. I'm thinking maybe like fall of 2019. That's what I'm assuming. If not, early January of like 2020. And so I think that's pretty cool. And so just a little.
I love Ruby Rose. Like I love bread. Yeah. She's just a really genuine person. And Batwoman, I think she'd kill it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. You know, I'm happy we're getting more. We're giving light to more and more superheroes, especially like we're gonna go into Gotham, but it's not gonna be about Batman. We're gonna get maybe a new perspective through Batwoman, and we're going to encounter her own demons and the people that she fights against, and we're going to be getting an out and open lesbian as a superhero in a major TV show as the lead character.
And as Oscar says, we need more gay.
Shit.
Roll the clip. Like I think it's going to be really good. But I just think adding that element to a show as monumental as Batwoman will definitely help give more representation, but also make it a little more authentic. At least I would hope they would make it authentic. Better. So. I think it's going to be really good. But here's a little blurb for you guys if you guys don't know about Batwoman. It says, armed with a passion for social justice and a flair for speaking her mind, she soars onto the streets of Gotham as Batwoman, an out, lesbian, and highly trained street fighter primed to snuff out the failing city's criminal resurgence. But don't call her a hero yet. In a city desperate for a savior, Kate must overcome her own demons before embracing the call to become Gotham's symbol of hope. So I think it's going to be a personal show. If there's any show I can compare it to.
Jessica Jones, maybe?
Yeah, I can see elements of Jessica Jones in the show.
More bets.
You said what?
More bets.
Yeah, Jessica Jones with more bats. And I think that's going to be a really good angle, especially for primetime television. I don't know how much they're going to delve into different themes. Like maybe she could be
The different
doing,
little Easter eggs of
yeah,
Batwoman.
like
I mean, there's a lot, but
I
I
mean,
think I
yeah,
just think it's going to be good. I mean, I don't really have too much in-depthness of Batwoman, but Ruby Rose, Batwoman, for it. Let's do it.
I think it's going to be really good.
I'm excited about it, but also just as a little fun fact, Batwoman as a character was introduced to kind of dispel rumors of Batman's homosexuality in the early, like 60s or 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
But then she was reimagined as a lesbian, which I think is pretty funny and ironic, but I love it. I'm excited. I'm here
People
for it.
thought Batman was gay.
Of course, he hung around Robin all the time, like back in the 60s or whatever.
Oh, look at that little tallywhacker. Yeah. I don't know if they but nah, that's wild. Fun little tidbit. Thanks, Facts, Oscar.
I think it's going to be a great show. But that's pretty much the TV news in terms of DC. Now we're getting into some movie news. And one of the recent developments from this week, I believe, was the announcement that a Supergirl movie is apparently in the works. And it's being written by a guy named Oren Uziel, who wrote scripts for the Cloverfield Paradox and 22 Jump Street.
Two very different movies, might I add.
Yeah, two very different movies. So
yeah, definitely.
There's not really much to go off of because we don't have any details.
Those are fucking different. How's he? I don't know what direction he's going to go in.
Well,
you get a feel for what a director might go for based off their discography, filmography. I don't really know what to expect, honestly. Just a light warming women empowerment film.
I think it's a marriage of the two because Cloverfield Paradox was more sci-fi, but 22 Jump Street was that, crime comedy aspect, but it also had the college aspect because 21 Jump Street was high school, and so 22 was like, okay, we're going to college, and so it's going to be interesting seeing whatever they come up with. I mean, he may not be the writer for the entire project. He may just be coming in to do like a draft or something like that. But
I wonder who are villains going to be for this show.
Someone on Twitter,
or the movie rather.
Someone on Twitter, his name is Walt. I think that's his handle. His @ is Uber Kryptonian. He came up with the theory that Kara comes to Earth and Feora pretty much ends up being the villain for the movie.
Who?
Feora,
okay.
Yeah, the female Kryptonian from Man of Steel. So, yeah, I don't know in terms of a villain for the movie, but I don't know. I'm excited. There's not really much to go off of. It's just the fact that the movie's apparently in the works.
Y'all, we about to make it, and y'all better be excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of just announced it out of the blue, and everybody's pretty excited for it. I wonder who they're going to cast as the main actress, because I think, like, Melissa, who plays Supergirl on the CW show, she's a pretty good Supergirl. Like, she keeps it fun and light and kind of funny, but she also knows how to get serious and how to...
Voice of Hollywood, she's doing TV. She's not good enough for movies.
Yeah. So I wonder who they're gonna bring to... Everybody's going to naturally compare the two because, Supergirl and Supergirl. Should be interesting.
I would love to have Melissa be Supergirl in the DC movies, but that means the door will be open for other DC TV characters to come in the movie somehow, and I don't really want any of the Arrow type stuff touching Green Arrow. So I'm gonna
why not?
I'm gonna keep that door shut.
You don't like Green Batman?
No. I stopped watching that show after like season 3.
We would have 2 Supermans, 2 Flashes, it would be a lot.
DC
it would be a lot.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna combine the TV and the movie universes unless they use. They're not gonna do it. And I mean, we're already used to it now because we have 2 Flashes, and everybody's chill about that. So 2 Supergirls is not going to be that big of a deal. But they would have 2 Superman because, like in Supergirl, they had Tyler Hoechlin from
Tyler Hoechlin
from Teen Wolf playing Superman.
Yeah.
So I don't see a TV movie crossover happening, but it'll be fun nonetheless.
I think it
I'm
will
excited.
be fun.
Yeah.
So that's getting developed. I guess another small little tidbit could be that this could enlighten us in terms of Henry Cavill and his current standing with WB when it comes to reprising his role as Superman in any Man of Steel movie or another Justice League type
Still has a
situation.
contract, right?
Yeah, he still has a movie on the contract. It was a rumor that he was going to be in Shazam as a cameo, but then there was another piece of news that came out that kind of hinted that he wasn't in it, so he could have one more movie on the contract.
Shazam. Give me another Man of Steel, please.
Yeah.
You can properly judge him from the first one.
But if you're thinking about it from a business standpoint, if he used the cameo in Shazam, that allows him to bargain for more money to renew his contract. And so I could have seen him doing it. But in terms of Supergirl, Superman is very connected to her story. He's pretty much like a mentor to her, even though she's technically older than him.
Yeah. She ain't had these powers as long, though.
Well, yeah, because
she's been normal as hell in that damn.
They left Krypton around the same time. They're cousins, so Clark's father is Jor-El, and then Kara's father is Zor-El, and they're brothers. And so Kara was like, I want to say she was like maybe 15 years older than Clark.
Yeah.
But she got stuck in the Phantom Zone. And so, you know that with black holes and stuff, time slows down. So when she finally came out of the Phantom Zone and arrived on Earth, Clark was already Superman, and he was like, I want to say like early 30s. But anyway, we have that, and so Superman could be a mentor to her, which means we could get more Henry in movies, potentially. And I think another cool thing about this news is the fact that it would be another female-led superhero movie for DC. We have Wonder Woman, and then we're getting Wonder Woman 84. We have Birds of Prey filming early next year. And then we would have Supergirl in development. And we also have Batgirl in development coming out at some point. We don't know when.
No, we need Poison Ivy.
See, we could get that if we got like Gotham City Sirens or something. But I don't know yet. I mean, everything's still in development. DC's kind of in this phase where they're just developing stuff. They're not really building a slate like Marvel would do. They're just like,
they're taking their time, making something good.
Yeah, they're
Marvel's
just like
shitting out ponies and ponies and confetti, and we sit here eating it up like it's nothing. DC like, we gonna make y'all something Gordon Chef Ramsay quality.
Jesus.
So, hopefully, it's as good as it is.
I mean, there's always hope. And once we see more of it, we'll definitely be able to give a better opinion on it. But
do they have a release date for the DC Universe streaming?
No, it's just it's this month. It's sometime this month. Probably later this month.
Get your pre-orders in.
Are we going to review Titans?
Yes.
Okay.
Why wouldn't we?
I mean, I'm just saying, are we doing like
let's get into review the hell out of. I want to see this.
Do you want to do episode by episode or just full season?
We could do like a
or mid-season.
We could do initial thought on the first episode. Don't come back to the middle and then finish off at the last.
That's good.
We don't have to do every episode because we don't know how many episodes are going to happen.
But aside from Supergirl news, apparently The Flash is also going to start production in February of next year. Yeah. And they're looking at a possible 2020 release. And so with The Flash, of course, we'll get Ezra Miller returning as Barry Allen. We'll also get Kiersey Clemons appearing as Iris West and Billy Crudup returning as Henry Allen, who we saw in Justice League. And so that's
ready for it. That'll be good. I like Ezra.
Yeah.
He's going to do a good job.
It's being directed by the guys who did Game Night, which is a really good movie.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, if you see Game Night, then you're going to understand. Like, Game Night was a really good movie. I would suggest watching it at some point.
I was supposed to. I keep thinking of Game Night as the one with Scarlett Jo transform a lot and the others.
That's Rough Night.
Scarlett Johansson and friends.
That's Rough Night.
So many nights.
But yeah, The Flash is being projected to start production in February. So
why are you even telling me it's 2018?
Well,
that's what
some
Donald
people just
Trump
like
will be up for
knowing.
Oh my God, 2020. Who's voting for Flash? Because I know I am.
I can't. Oh God, I can't. I don't even want to think about that right now.
Yeah. Are we going to get political in this bitch?
No, we're not. We're saving.
Let's
We're going to add some red, white, and blue to this pie, to this cake.
So, aside from the Flash, apparently, for the Birds of Prey movie, Black Mask is the villain that we're getting.
That's cool.
I think it's really interesting. So, this is coming from the Wrap, and they have a paragraph pretty much about the Black Mask, which says Black Mask is the criminal alias of Roman Sionis, who murdered his wealthy, status-obsessed parents to take control of the family corporation, then lost everything when he proved to be a terrible businessman. Seeking revenge on the people he blamed for his own failure, particularly Bruce Wayne and Wayne Enterprises, he returns, hidden behind an ebony black mask, as the head of a gang called the False Face Society. So
wasn't he in another thing called I thought it was the Secret Society of Supervillains.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was in that.
Was he in the Secret Society of Supervillains?
Is that even a thing at DC?
Let's look at it.
Like the League of Villains, or
yeah,
it's like I read it somewhere.
He was in the Society, like it's just named the Society, Secret Society of Supervillains. Yeah.
So he was in that.
Supervillains appearing in American comic books published by
False Facers, right?
Yeah, that's a thing. I think this is like a good villain to have for this type of movie. I feel like honestly he could have been a good villain for a movie like Suicide Squad, where instead of having it be like the entire world is going to end if you don't, accomplish your mission, it's more like street level crimes. He's the head of a gangster organization. I think it would be exciting to see how he plays off with the characters of Birds of Prey, all of these characters that don't usually get the limelight in the mass media like this.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely what you were saying.
No, I was just saying that was a good way for DC to build on their base, like touching characters that nobody's heard of. They're building sort of. It's like they're like underhanded, like Microsoft. Oh my Jesus Christ! Marvel is like building like a base of the most famous people. They're hardly touching on the ones that we don't look at, but it seems like DC has been focusing a lot on people, characters that people don't really focus on. So I don't know what type of strategy it is, but it's like they're building a bigger universe than what Marvel has currently.
I mean, well, Marvel started out with their lower level heroes, or the heroes that not a lot of people really knew about, and so this is kind of the angle that DC's going for. The only difference is because those lower level heroes that Marvel started with are more popular now.
Iron Man?
I guess, yeah, he's like a level hero now. Because a lot of people love his movies.
Before then was Hulk, and he's been up there.
When Iron Man came out, nobody knew what it was. Like they were like, "What is this?" Only the really
I can see that.
Only the really heavy comic book nerds knew what it was. Like
yeah, because at the time Marvel didn't have the rights to many characters other than like Iron Man and Thor and the Hulk, and it's like, who are these people? Everybody knows the Hulk, but it's like, who's Thor and who's Iron Man?
Exactly. But now they're household names, and so DC's kind of doing that now, where they're using characters that either nobody's really heard of or characters that haven't been seen before, and they're building stories around it.
Or just extensions of their already popular characters, Batgirl, Batman.
Right. And I think it's interesting because we're getting Batgirl eventually at some point.
And if you want to know more about the Black Mask, you can play the video game Batman Arkham Origins. I think is the one he appeared in.
You don't need to play that one for real, but
if you want to.
But I think it's also going to be pretty interesting because we could get connections to Red Hood, who is part of the Bat family. I think that's going to be interesting just because they were both crime lords in their respective areas around the same time, and it's pretty much connected to the Under the Hood storyline, where Jason Todd comes back from the dead, literally, and pretty much becomes what everybody knows today as the Red Hood. Maybe it's possible we could get a Red Hood cameo in Birds of Prey, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just reaching ahead too much.
Yeah, they did have that Robin outfit in Batman vs Superman, which I thought would lead into something like Red Hood. So that would be a good setup. But they also kind of left it there so that it doesn't have to rely on Red Hood. Like they don't have to go back to that Easter egg. But it was more like a little. Yeah, it was just basically an Easter egg for fans to know, hey, look, this is Jason Todd's outfit. He's dead in this universe.
Exactly.
Is that a theatrical cut?
Yeah, it was
in the theatrical.
It was just like
His
a very
whole
quick
suit
scene.
was there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the scene where...
I'm sorry, I only saw that movie once.
Clearly,
you'll watch
you
it.
did not pay attention.
You only saw it once and you're that irritated? You got to watch it at least 2 times.
I was really irritated by the plot. It wasn't even like...
We'll get into it.
On the movie. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not hating on the movie. The ending irritated me.
That's fair.
I just had 3 major gripes with that movie, and they weren't even that strong. I just never felt like going back. But I'll watch it again.
We'll have time to revisit. We already have a schedule for the flashback films. So, yeah, we could get some Red Hood stuff in Birds of Prey, but I'm not putting too much hope into it. If it happens, and I'll be excited. So, in our last story, sticking along to the Gotham verse of the DC universe, Matt Reeves, who directed the previous 2 Planet of the Apes movies and is also the director for the upcoming Batman movie, gave some updates on it. And so, to kind of give a backstory, there have been a lot of rumors in terms of the Batman movie, and I think it's only because of the backlash of Batman v Superman, but also the critical disappointment in Justice League that kind of set it so far back. And so there have been a lot of rumors as far as Ben Affleck leaving, Matt Reeves getting rid of Ben Affleck, replacing him with another actor to play Batman, things like that. And there was another rumor recently that came out that said the Batman movie was going to be somewhat of an adaptation of Batman Year One, which would place the movie as a prequel and not a sequel, furthering the story of the DC universe. But
my main thing, I guess, with this and the whole Batman thing is people should probably just not focus on this as much because it's just going to just create rumors after rumor after rumor. You might as well just focus on something else and wait for it. I understand if Batman is your main guy, but this doesn't look like it's going anywhere at the moment. So probably best for people to not, stay invested on this or just create so many rumors that you end up disappointing yourself when the actual details come out. To see a lot of people do that. So just, trickle in. Anything happen, trickle out.
Exactly.
What did he even say? He said we're not doing any origin tales or anything like that, but definitely Batman, emotional and him being the world's greatest detective.
Yeah,
I heard that before.
And so that's pretty much the angle that they're taking with the movie. As far as Matt Reeves has said, he also said that the movie's going to be more noir driven, in which Batman is investigating a particular case that takes us out into the world of Gotham.
That I can get behind. That's nice.
That's the kind of Batman story I like. I like when Batman's more of the detective instead of the
stiff fighter.
Yeah, I like him when he's more analytical. That's the type of Batman I like. That's probably why I like Tim Drake, because to me Tim Drake is the more analytical side of Bruce. I think that's going to be really interesting.
The more analytical side is how people respond to Sherlock and stuff like that. A lot of people forget, Batman is he's I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Batman is he's cool. Yeah, he can fight crime. Yeah, he's scary. But where's his smart side? He's smart as shit. Well, not shit, but he's smart. He got he got the money, he got the back cave, he got the deduce. If you see him in the games, all the Arkham games, he's literally you spend your whole time playing this mini game, reconstructing a crime scene. You don't see any of that in the movies, really. You just see him, oh my God, we got to stop that barrel from exploding in 30 seconds. Him driving a Batmobile, very vigorously, might I add, destroying people, maybe killing people. But that's another story. Driving through the city and stuff like that. And then, getting to his destination, stopping the bomb, getting out of time, finding some bad guys running away. He didn't have to solve anything for that. Batman is a detective.
Exactly.
He comes to conclusions, not beat first, ask question later, screaming, "Where is she?" Have y'all heard that on a Dolby installed in system? No. Your ears gone.
So Matt Reeves also gave an update as far as Ben Affleck. He says that he's still attached to the project in some capacity, but it's too early to really give any further updates on that. So it's not confirmation that he's still playing the Batman, but it's not confirmation that he's not, pretty much.
It's too early. Tom tell you it's too early again.
It's too early to really talk about it. And so also
it's too early, and people need to be quiet and just let it be in its production. Let DC do them. Yeah. They're not as fast. They got to build up, all right?
In terms,
y'all get your dessert.
In terms of Robin, we didn't get any confirmation that we'll see Robin in the movie, but Matt Reeves was kind of on a hush-hush. And so it could be possible that we see at least some form of Robin in the movie coming up. And I think...
Like, they be asking me questions. Jamal, is Robin in the film? Nah, next.
And I think if all goes well and they finish everything, they'll probably have a production start date of sometime in 2019, like maybe around summer. And so next year we would have Birds of Prey, Flash, and Batman in production. So those will probably be the 2020 movies that come out.
Is that a calendar, bro?
And then Supergirl's also in development. We might get Man of Steel in development at some point.
Everything's in development.
There's a lot of DC movies, but at least we have some traction now.
Yeah.
I just need a big ass calendar and just put stuff on it. Because there's like a lot of stuff coming out amongst games and movies and TV shows. Doesn't something come out this weekend? Insecure.
Yeah, on Sunday.
I have to think about it. There's so much coming out. August is the month.
But Insecure is like a half-hour show. Like, it's not going to be that bad.
Hey, how many episodes, though?
Probably 8.
Yeah, but they release it like every week. It's not like Netflix that they drop all the episodes at once. It's
right.
I have to sit through and wait for this stuff. Do I wait for it to finish and then binge? I'm spoiled like Josiah. I need all my shit at once.
Yeah.
I sound like a drug addict. Oh, my God. Yeah. There's just a lot of stuff happening. Superheroes are definitely taking over the media.
It's a good time to be a nerd. That's for sure.
Oscar, did you have any
It's always been a good time to be a nerd.
On the Batman?
I don't know. I'm excited for it. I mean, at this point, it's like everything's still too early to tell. I'm actually more excited for other movies than for the Batman. I'm not really begging for another Batman movie. Birds of Prey is catching my eye. You know, The Flash would even be more interested in this. Right now, I just want to focus on the movies that are coming out this year, like Aquaman, like I can just, and Shazam.
Yeah,
or
is that they're like right there. I actually get excited for something like Aquaman because it's happening within the time frame.
Yeah,
like talking about we're working on the Green Lantern film, but we're going to start production in 2030.
It's all very vague and like really
2030. Stop talking. Just give me like close dates. Let's talk about the Aquamans coming out. But I'm glad DC is in it. They in the game now, and it's time to get serious. Make Marvel scared. Scare Marvel.
Competition makes for better.
They think they can't be touched right now. Show them what's up. I'm with it. DC. Washington, DC. Let me stop.
So yeah, that was pretty much the breakdown of the news from the last few weeks. There's really nothing else to touch on yet. Insecure is this weekend. So we'll probably just watch that. I'm getting ready for Spider-Man PS4. I don't know. There's really nothing else to really touch on.
That come out again?
September 7th. So in about 3 weeks.
Oh, and in exactly a month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's exactly a month.
That game, I swear. Also, little game review. If you like Metroidvania games, my listeners out there, Chef Jamal recommends Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a very quirky game.
Do they want to eat Dead Cells? Why would you recommend that? Do they want to eat Dead Cells? Why would you recommend that?
Wow. I mean, wow. You come from my plate like that.
That's what all non-vegetarian food is.
Listen,
right in front of my salad.
Delicious. I'm telling you. You want to pick it up with a fork, pour some sauce on it. You don't need a DLC. Flat $20. Pick it up today on PS4. Or Xbox, I think. Who cares about that, though? And the Wii. Who cares about that? PS4, those are what you
Not
should
the
be
Wii. Not the Wii.
So, Dead Cells is a good game. It's quirky. It has a good script. the characters are lovable, and the level like reshapes every time you die. And they also have timed doors, so just your regular Metroidvania stuff. So just go check it out. That's my game recommendation.
Sure.
Check it out.
Well,
I don't got nothing else to say.
This was recorded in the middle of the week, so if any other news comes out, yikes. Whoa.
Suck. Y'all better
Sorry, the kitchen is closed. Go next door.
The restaurant is closed. We'll reopen in the morning.
That's
So-
not even in the morning.
we open after lunch. But yeah, so I guess there's nothing really else to talk about. So if you guys want to plug your socials.
Oh, sorry. This is Maul, and my social again is Awkward King, aka URD King. You know how I spell King? I'm sorry. And I'm also here with.
This is Oscarp. You can find me on Twitter at OPMI1, OPIMI1.
And this is Siah. You can find me at SiahJ_Andre. And you can also find our podcast at NerdSpice Pod on Twitter. And we're also available on different platforms. We're available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Blueberry. There are a lot of places, but you can definitely find those links.
You listen to podcasts.
Yeah, you can definitely find those links on Twitter. And this
Thanks
is
for
us.
adding our spice to your life. We
Ooh,
appreciate it.
yeah,
We hope you come back.
I like that. Well,
What?
be sure to grab your coats and your hats on the way out. If you don't, we will pickpocket.
I ain't gonna pill pocket. I steal your whole coat. I go all in.
All right.
eBay. We don't do eBay here. We do Craigslist. Shady only.
Oh my goodness. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.